Hello, welcome to Puzzle Master. Today I'm going to be showing you the solution for the Hanayama snow puzzle. Which means I'm going to be showing you the 1 or 2 moves that you need to, first of all, disassemble those 2 snow pieces and then how you can put them back together. Now the snow puzzle is a level 2 out of 6 on the Hanayama difficulty scale and a 6 out of 10 on the Puzzle Master difficulty scale. And if you don't already have the snow puzzle for yourself, then you can pick it up from our website at puzzlemaster.ca. And without further ado, let's crack on with that solution. Okay, so here we have a fully assembled snow puzzle. And before we get into the actual move that is required to solve this, first of all we need to get the orientation right as to how we are going to hold the snow puzzle. And then secondly, we need to find out where you are, or we need to get to a position at which you can get to easily, and then we can both go from there, because the chances are that you aren't in this original position. And the chances are that you'll be in a position that we'll discuss in a second. So first of all, for the whole of the solution, we are going to be looking at the side that has the Hanayama engraving on it, and we are going to be holding that Hanayama piece in a position where that we can always read the Hanayama word, because it is always going to be the right way around. The Hanayama piece is going to stay still, and we're going to be moving the snow piece around the back of this Hanayama piece. So as soon as we've got the right orientation, looking at the Hanayama piece with the Hanayama writing the right way around, we're then going to work to a position. Now if you are in this original position, then all we're going to do is turn the back snow piece up until we get to this point here, in which we have the bit that we're trying to get out from the snow piece through the Hanayama piece in the middle of the Hanayama piece, and then the opposite piece, the opposite thing, in the same position on the snow piece, smack bang in the middle of the snow piece. Now from here, it's easy, this is almost like the middle position, and from here we are going to be taking these 2 parts, this bit here and this bit here, through this part of the Hanayama side, and then looking from behind this part in the snow piece, so underneath here. Now to do that, essentially we're going to move the snow piece right and spin it all the way around relative to where the Hanayama piece is right now. So first of all, before we start that twist, we need to make sure that we're we're sort of working our way up this part here, and at the same time we'll be working up this part here. So this Hanayama piece hasn't moved yet, and all we're doing is turning the snow piece around the back of the Hanayama piece. And if you do get stuck at any point, play around with the sort of the height of where the snow piece is. Again, the Hanayama piece hasn't moved, and all we do is we spin around until we get into this position here, at which we can then separate those 2 pieces from each other, just like that. And to put the snow puzzle back together, we're going to take whichever piece is the Hanayama piece, this one, we're going to hold it in that exact same position. We can see the Hanayama engraving in this position, and we can read the writing because it's the right way around. The snow piece we're going to take and we're going to put it up in this position here. This is the only position at which these 2 pieces will slide through the opposite side. And then from here, we're going to essentially take the snow piece and twist it around relative to where the Hanayama piece is. Now if you get stuck during any of these moves, play around with the height in terms of like relative to this position here. So if you do find a point at which it doesn't seem to want to carry on twisting around, just move it up and down relative to this line here in the Hanayama piece and this line in here in the snow piece. So we're going to keep twisting around, and once you get to the very end, there'll be a slight point at which it gets a little bit stiff, and sometimes you might need a little bit of force, but again it's a very, very small amount of force to get it separated. And then to get it back in its original position, we solved out through this one, and the original position is just above this circle here, or just below that circle there even. So we're just going to twist into this position here, and that is how we reassemble the snow puzzle. So there it is, that is how you disassemble and then reassemble the snow puzzle. It can be quite tricky to get each piece to move where you want it to at certain points. So if you do struggle with that move coming around the back with the snow side, then it's more a case, or it's usually a case of having to play around with where each piece is on the straight line of the other piece, if that makes sense. Now hopefully this has helped you solve the snow puzzle for yourself. If you want to pick up more puzzles just like the snow puzzle, then check out our website puzzlemaster.ca, where we have the biggest variety of puzzles on the internet in the world. Until next time, I'll see you later.